The inner radiance, why you must be a light unto yourself. Have you ever felt lost, uncertain of your next step, desperately seeking a guide in the darkness? We all have. In a world that often teaches us to follow, to conform, to seek external validation, what if the most powerful truth, the most liberating revelation, lies not outside you, but within? What if the brightest lamp capable of illuminating your unique path is one you must light yourself? Today, on Buddha Story, we delve into a timeless teaching from the Awakened One, a teaching that challenges our deeply ingrained habits of dependence and empowers us to unlock an inherent wisdom we often overlook. This isn't just an ancient parable, it's a blueprint for authentic living, for true success, and for a profound inner peace that no external force can ever extinguish. Stay with us. The journey to becoming your own light is the most courageous and the most rewarding journey you will ever embark upon. Chapter 1: Seeking Guidance in the Shadow of Uncertainty. The Twilight Assembly, a question from a worried heart. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the ancient Indian sky with hues of saffron and rose. A gentle evening breeze rustled the leaves of the Bodhi tree, under which the Buddha sat, his posture serene, his presence a silent anchor amidst the fading light. Around him, his assembly of disciples sat, their faces bathed in the soft glow of the twilight, reflecting a profound sense of calm and joy. The air was thick with the peace that often settled around the Awakened One, a peace that transcended the clamor of the world. These disciples had left behind their homes, their families, their former lives, drawn by the irresistible magnetism of the Buddha's wisdom. They had found solace in his teachings, clarity in his words, and an unwavering beacon in his very presence. For years, he had been their guide, their teacher, their ultimate source of truth. He illuminated their path, explained the intricacies of the Dharma, and personally demonstrated the way to liberation. They trusted him implicitly, relying on his every word, his every gesture, to navigate the complexities of their spiritual journey. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, a subtle anxiety began to stir in the heart of one disciple. His name is not explicitly mentioned in the original narrative, but we can imagine him as a sincere seeker, perhaps one who had relied heavily on the Buddha's direct guidance. As the evening deepened, casting longer shadows, a worried expression settled upon his face. He contemplated a future without the physical presence of his master, a future where the guiding light, so tangible and immediate, might no longer be there. This was a fear that many, if not all, disciples must have grappled with at some point. Summoning his courage, his voice tinged with a genuine concern that echoed the universal human fear of being lost. He respectfully posed a question to the Buddha. Disciple, with a worried expression, "Master, when you are no longer with us, how can we navigate the darkness of this world and find our way to enlightenment?" The question hung in the air, weighted by unspoken fears and a profound sense of potential future vulnerability. It was a question about dependence, about the very essence of guidance, and about the fear of spiritual abandonment. It encapsulated the human tendency to seek external authority, to place our trust in a singular, powerful figure to illuminate our path. The disciple's heart was undoubtedly filled with the natural human inclination to rely on a stronger, wiser being, to follow a well-trodden path, rather than forging their own. The Buddha's gentle smile, an invitation to deeper truth. The Buddha, with his characteristic gentle smile, listened patiently to the question. His smile, in that moment, was not one of amusement, but of deep understanding and compassion. He recognized the sincere fear in the disciple's voice, the underlying human condition of seeking external validation and guidance. He knew that this question, while seemingly simple, held the key to a more profound teaching, a lesson that would transcend his physical presence and empower each individual to discover their own inherent capacity for wisdom. He paused, allowing the question to settle, allowing the anxious energy in the air to gently dissipate. He then began to share a story, a simple tale, yet one packed with layers of timeless wisdom. This was his favored method of teaching, not through abstract pronouncements, but through relatable narratives that allowed his disciples to discover the truth for themselves, internalizing the lesson through empathy and reflection. The story he was about to tell would become one of the most fundamental principles of his entire Dharma, a cornerstone of self-discovery and ultimate liberation. And so, the story goes like this. Chapter 2, The Parable of the Two Travelers, a Fable of Dependence, the Inn and the Looming Darkness, a choice presented once. In a distant village nestled along a winding road, two travelers embarked on a journey. They were not companions by choice, but rather individuals whose paths happened to converge at a small inn. The inn, a simple but welcoming refuge, offered a respite from the day's travels, a chance to rest and regain their energy before continuing their separate ways towards their respective destinations. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long golden shadows across the courtyard, the atmosphere at the inn shifted. The carefree chatter of the day gave way to the quiet preparations for nightfall. It was then that a lamp seller arrived, his voice a gentle call, offering oil lamps for sale. These were not mere trinkets. They were essential tools for navigation in a world without electric light, a lifeline for anyone venturing out after dusk. The first traveler, a pragmatic and forward-thinking individual, immediately recognized the impending need for illumination. His journey would continue through the night, and he understood the inherent dangers and uncertainties of traveling in darkness. Without hesitation, he promptly bought a lamp, ensuring his safety and ability to navigate the unknown paths ahead. He made a conscious, responsible choice, investing in his own capacity to see and guide himself. He represented foresight, self-reliance, and a proactive approach to potential challenges. The second traveler, however, observed this purchase with a different mindset. His nature was perhaps more impulsive, more inclined to seek convenience or avoid unnecessary expense. He rationalized his decision with a thought that many of us in various situations might share. Second traveler's internal monologue, casual, perhaps a touch shrewd. Why should I spend money on a lamp? It's an unnecessary expense. I can simply follow the first traveler and use his light to guide my path. He's going in the same general direction anyway. Why carry the burden of my own light when someone else has already provided one? His logic on the surface seemed sound. It was efficient, it saved resources, and it seemed to offer a ready-made solution to a potential problem. He chose dependence over independence, leveraging someone else's preparation for his own convenience. This decision, seemingly innocuous at the time, would prove to be pivotal, defining the course of his journey in ways he could not yet foresee. He represented a passive approach, a reliance on external solutions, and a willingness to ride on the coattails of another's effort. The journey through darkness, following a borrowed light when the sun finally set and the profound darkness of night fully enveloped the landscape. The first traveler, true to his foresight, lit his lamp. Its warm glow cut through the encroaching gloom, casting a small, portable sphere of light around him. With confidence and purpose, he began his journey towards his destination, the lamp swinging gently, illuminating each step of the path before him. The second traveler, relying entirely on the first traveler's light, positioned himself closely behind. He walked in the glow of the borrowed lamp, feeling a sense of security, believing his plan was perfectly executed. He could see enough to follow, enough to avoid immediate obstacles, enough to feel safe in the wake of another's illumination. He felt clever, having circumvented the need to purchase his own lamp. He was moving forward, seemingly unhindered, benefiting from the foresight of another without bearing the cost or responsibility himself. The journey was not without its challenges. There were many forests along the way, dense and dark, where the light from the sky could not penetrate. The path wound and twisted, sometimes narrow, sometimes rocky. Yet, as long as the first traveler's lamp shone ahead, the second traveler felt confident, simply mirroring the steps of his unwitting guide. He believed he was making progress, moving towards his own goals, all while relying on a light that was not his own.